Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. As you can see, the boom command is initiated. It's ready to go. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing well. It is 6:40 p.m. Chicago time, where I'm at, or I should say Central Time. Hope everyone's having a good day today. Twitch got hacked. I'm pretty sure most of you know the news, but they all of our data is gone. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not really a big dog in the Twitch community, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I know a lot of the bigger dogs are freaking out a little bit. Turn the mic down a little. All right, there we go. But anyways, yeah. So that's kind of what's going on here. Let's see. I woke up today. I was in tremendous back pain, and I got to hear about all the Twitch news about the hack. And then, I was on there looking at the salaries of the top 10,000 streamers. They got that data posted out there. It's pretty kind of interesting, actually, to see the top 10,000 streamers and how much money they're actually pulling in. It's pretty neat. But anyways, yeah. So I had a lot of back pain. I worked through it during my morning yoga, qigong, stretching routine that I do every day, and then I went and taught a chess class. And I don't know. It's weird in this chess class that I'm teaching. There's a lot of beginners there. I'm not used to teaching students that have never played the game before. Usually when students come to me, they've been playing a while and are pretty advanced. But because of COVID and all that, very few schools are having after school external programs come in. So I take what I can get, and I'm teaching beginners. So I was teaching some kindergartners how to move the pieces today, and it was kind of weird. I'd almost forgotten how to teach those kind of very basic lessons. I was like, oh, here's all the pieces. Here's what each piece does. Have fun. And then I look over and they're basically picking up their pieces and just staring at them and playing. Having the pieces bump together in the air. So I had to give more personal attention there. Hey, Viper's Gratitude, first time here. Aristotle sent you, presumably by the power of metal. Yeah, awesome. I'm big into metal. I'm big into philosophy. Primarily, I do meditations these days. That's kind of my main thing. But I dig avant-garde Norwegian metal mostly. Bands like Arcturus and Ramset and Demi Borger and all those bands are kind of my favorite. But yeah, hey, Aristotle's here too. Good to see you here. Yeah, metal and philosophy do go hand in hand. It's kind of interesting, and I used to not think so. When I was younger, I thought the lyrics the lyrics of American metal used to be pretty lame. They weren't very deep. They were just go kill your mother, blah blah blah, right? But yeah, then I started getting into metal from the Scandinavian countries and especially Norway, and there's a lot of deep philosophical issues that they deal with, and it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. I didn't realize that, and that was my early 20s, and then I've never looked back. Arcturus is my favorite avant-garde Norwegian metal band. They completely changed everything with their album La Masquerade Inferno. Is one of the best albums of all time. It still holds up, and if you're going to check it out, check out The Chaos Path and Master of Disguise. They're two of my top favorite songs of all time. Let's see. Viper's Gratitude, you say, Eek, you're everywhere. Yeah, Aristotle pops up. He kind of is everywhere. He's all around. I never know when the guy's gonna pop up or not. He does a lot of lurking. He's behind the scenes, but he seems to come through whenever I need him. Whenever there's an issue or something, he always pops up. I remember that one time someone in the chat was having some issues, and he came through with a good link for counselors, which was awesome. I was really grateful about that. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to try to help people and give, impart whatever wisdom I have, to others. And if I can do that, that's awesome. If I can't, I don't, right? But yeah, Aristotle, you say, in all fairness, you're more into hardcore and metalcore. It's more defiant than anything. Yeah, and defiance is good. In fact, I have a little magnet on my fridge that says defiance. It's perfect too, because it's a black little magnet, and it's right where I put it right over where the Frigidaire, sticker is, and it's like very subtle, so people don't really recognize it. And then every once in a while, someone will be over during a party or something, and they'll be like, "What is that?" And they'll look a little closer, and they'll notice it. I like doing things like that, like having like little Easter eggs and little like subtle things like that. Just kind of placed throughout my apartment in case I have people over. You're into industrial and punk. Well, one of my favorite bands of all time is Nine Inch Nails and Ministry. Those two bands are incredible. I don't know what's going on in the industrial scene nowadays. I really haven't followed up with it, but Nails and Ministry were my bands back in the day, and I still listen to Nails all the time. Trent is just a genius. He's an absolute genius, and I know he's doing a lot of he's working in Hollywood doing a lot of scores and doing for movies and stuff like that. He's making all that kind of music, but he's still doing stuff in the music scene. He's going to have some more music coming out, hopefully sometime in the next year or so. I know he said he was working on it last I heard. Let's see. Aristotle, you say there is no fate that cannot be surmounted by scorn. Camus, yeah. Yeah, the only book I actually read by Camus was The Rebel. I think I got it over here. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, I got it right here. This is the only thing I've ever read by him as far as like a whole book, but yeah, he's a cool dude. I mean, he's the dude that was talking about that talked a lot about suicide, and he said I believe he was quoted as saying the only philosophical question of any significance ever is whether or not one should kill themselves. And he came to the conclusion that you shouldn't, and he argues that you shouldn't do it. But that's kind of a pretty profound thing to think about, right? And I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. I think there's a lot of other worthwhile philosophical questions, but it's cool that he put a lot of weight into that notion of suicide and whether we should stay alive. I mean, look at the human condition, right? Is everything absurd, right? If everything's absurd and without meaning, then how do we go along living our lives? How do we go about living our lives on a daily basis? And should we care? Should we try to take care of the people around us? What should we do? And then there's the whole existentialist thing of will we create our own meaning? Yada yada. But I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see hear the different philosophers and their viewpoints. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Viper's Gratitude, you say you have a magnet on my friend that an American sent me after the Bush years. It says, "We promise not to vote for an idiot again." On your fridge. Yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing, though. But here's the thing. You never know who's going to be an idiot until it's too late. That typically is how it plays out, right? I mean, there's a lot of times we vote for someone and we're like, oh, this guy's going to do a good job, or this woman's going to do a good job, and it's like, then they get elected, and it's like, oh wow, this person really was an idiot. They're just all about appearance, and they're not really about any substance. And at the end of the day, you want someone with substance, right? You want someone who actually has something of value to offer to your country. And you just don't know. You don't know. A lot of people can put on good fronts, right? I mean, in politics, that's all you need. It doesn't even really matter what the fuck you do. If you're a sophist, if you can spin shit, like Gorgias, and just to spin everything and win the debates, I mean, then it doesn't matter if you really have anything of value to offer. You could be a horrible, shitty person, but if you're able to win the debate, if you're able to use sophistry to win whatever debate you want, then you're gonna get elected. That's just how it goes. Let's see, where else are we at? Let's see. Aristotle, you say you've never read that one. Yep, that's him. Yeah. You wrote a paper on Emile. I don't know this guy. Emile Cioran, another French existentialist that around that time who writes a lot about suicide. Interesting how people talk about it. I have not had a tremendous amount of experience with continental philosophers. The French existentialists. All those guys. Like I went to. My program in grad school was very analytic philosophy oriented, and we didn't read much about the French existentialists and any of those guys. We're reading about David Lewis. We all wanted to know about David Lewis. We all wanted to know about Dennett, and I was big into philosophy of mind, so I was always interested in the mind guys out there and the metaphysicians and. But yeah, I didn't. I wish I knew a little bit more about it. I did some of my own reading later on, and got to experience Sartre and the rest of the crew from back in the French existentialist days. But yeah, it would be cool to maybe check out more about that, especially about suicide. I've always thought suicide's a very very interesting subject. But yeah, that's how that goes. Let's see where we're at here. Oh, Shakti Bhakti, hello. Let's see. Lovely, I bump into your stream as you talk about idiots. I just identified pretty much the biggest idiot in the universe, and a leech that's ruined almost my whole life. I think the dude above your head just said hi to me. Um, all right, well, interesting. Continental philosophy is rough, man. You've had training in both. Yeah, I remember reading. I took two classes in philosophy, a few classes in philosophy before I got into my analytic philosophy program, and one of them was taught by a continental philosopher, and we were reading Heidegger, and I just fucking I remember just reading, and it was just like the being of the being is not the being, that's is the perceived being. The being is, and like I just couldn't fucking handle it. I like after reading Heidegger, I wanted to fucking blow my brains out. It was not a fun experience for me. And I know like some people, like they're just naturally inclined to like be able to like understand that shit. I can't understand Heidegger at all. Like when I read it, it's literally like reading a foreign language. It means nothing to me. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. It just seems like completely, convoluted and just fucking weird and strange. And I'd rather see shit listed, in premise form, and then see the inferences and be able to follow the chain of logic in a nice, like, clean, orderly, fashion, and then see the conclusions and check for validity and soundness. Like that just seems like a lot more reasonable to me than what Heidegger was saying. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have value. He's got a tremendous amount of value, but like I just can't understand what the fuck he's talking about. Just the way my mind is constructed. So, but yeah, to each his own, right? It's just how it goes. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at in my philosophy journey. Well, yeah, I primarily studied philosophy of science, philosophy of mind, and metaphysics. And in fact, yeah, I know you're a big ethics guy, Aristotle. I only took one ethics class the entire time in grad school. It was kind of crazy. It was a meta ethics course that presupposed objective morality. And that's kind of the thing, right, with an analytic philosophy, right? Everyone kind of presupposes that. I'm not sure. I could be totally wrong, but my teacher sure as hell like didn't want to hear about subjectivity and ethics and whatnot. Yeah, that's just how that goes. Aristotle, what do you think about the leak on Twitch? Are you concerned about the hack or not? I was talking about it earlier. Those of you who don't know, you can now check out the top 10,000 Twitch streamers' salaries for the last 2 years. I think since August of 2019. Yeah, you can see like a bunch of other stuff. Like pretty much everything from Twitch got hacked, and all that information's out there now. So it's kind of interesting. It makes for a weird dynamic, to have that kind of exposure. And I believe the hacker justified their actions by saying something along the lines of Twitch is a cesspool, a toxic cesspool, which does have some merit. I mean, traditionally that's always been there's always been a negative connotation associated with Twitch, right? People have always had looked down upon it in some ways and saying that it was toxic, but it's not always that way. I mean, look at all the wonderful musicians and artists and philosophers and people in the fitness and health community. We have some great shit going on Twitch right now. It's really it's kind of, we're trying to turn the tide, but there's still a lot of toxic streams out there. That's just how it goes. But it's just, if you're into toxicity, if you want that kind of stuff in your life, I mean, I guess it's a good place for you, right? You can just go to a channel where people just, where the streamer just like streams at the or screams at the chat all day, and the people in the chat just say ignorant stuff to the streamer, and then it creates an interesting weird dynamic, right? Just like a lot of negativity being spewed about. Viper's gratitude, you think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to be able to check the salary. I like checking the salaries. I think that's kind of neat, right? you never sometimes you never know like how much people are actually making. You think someone's like making $10 million a year or a year on Twitch, and it turns out no one's making $10 million a year. I think the highest salary, well, it was like someone made 9 million over the course of the last couple of years. And then I think XQC made like 8 point something million. And then then there was like a pretty big drop off after like the top like 10 or so. But then you have a bunch of people making $1 million, over the course of a couple of years. It's kind of neat, right, to think about it. And it's not really like it's big news. I mean, you can calculate it. I mean, all you do is you take the subscriber amount and multiply it by 2.5 or 3.5 because streamers typically get 50% or of the subscription amount. And then sometimes they can get more. Like I know partners can renegotiate their contract and make a little bit more, but they're not getting the whole $5 every time there's a subscription added. Let's see. Viper's gratitude, you say, not joking, all private enterprise should have that level of public exposure. Yeah, I kind of like it too, man. It's kind of neat. I mean, having the people's stream keys though, put out there on the internet, it's probably not that cool, right? That means anyone could just take someone's stream key and be like, oh, let's let me stream, let me do one of your stream on your channel, right? That could be kind of fucked up, right? But yeah, and like passwords and things like that, like that's probably not cool. But like other things, like the financial records, all that data. I mean, I'm not really too concerned about that. I think that's kind of interesting, actually. Let's see. Aristotle, you say honestly not too worried about the leak, but it was a pain in the ass to change my password and stream key today. Yeah, I mean, there's things we do, things we got to change and got to deal with, right? So it's a little bit annoying, right? And then everything that you have that stream key linked to, you have to change and whatever, But yeah, it just is what it is, right? Viper's gratitude, you say. You mean look at the non-for-profits and the public scrutiny they get. Those who are trying to do good in the world get criticism, whereas those acting purely in self-interest get off scot-free. Yeah, I know. Non-for-profits get ripped apart, right? And then those who are let's see, he said those who are trying to do good in the world get criticism. Those who are acting purely in self-interest. Yeah, because they hide all their shit, right? I mean, I like to think that eventually it gets back to them. Like no one gets away scot-free. Like given enough time, eventually karma will come back and kick them in the face. But whether or not that's the case, is another story. I mean, I'm sure there's been plenty of people that have gotten away scot-free. I think it just makes me feel better to think that like everyone who's like a big piece of garbage, has like gets like their karma, gets their just desserts, right? It's like weird. It's like a psychological thing. It's like, oh, then the universe is fair, right? If you act like a piece of garbage, and bad things will eventually come around your way, right? And if you hold that view, it seems like you can sleep a little better at night, thinking the universe has a certain level of fairness and order to it. But that might not be the case. It might not be the case. There might be plenty of people that are just like, made billions of dollars off of exploiting others and sleep perfectly well at night and are very happy and content and live very peaceful, joyful existences, right? We don't know. We can't say for certain. I mean, and there's always the exception. There's sociopaths that don't care about screwing over other people and are perfectly fine and can sleep well at night. And then you have people that are incredible and like joyful, happy people and contribute a lot to the world and have horrific things happen to them. So what do you say in those instances, right? Hey, Evelyn, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. How you doing? I hope all is well with you today. Evelyn Yogi, let me give you a big shout out. Yeah, she's click on her link, check out her stream. She's a phenomenal yoga streamer here on Twitch in the fitness and health community. Super positive, kind, caring person, and she does tarot as well. It's also neat. I always go to Evelyn's streams and check her out as much as I can. So yeah, check her out, drop her follow. You'll learn some about yoga and you'll have a good time. That's kind of how I promote you, Evelyn. I hope that's satisfactory. All right, I gotta drink some water. I'm getting dehydrated as it is. Those of you who don't know, I go through about 2 gallons of water a day. I literally drink 2 gallons of water a day, which is probably excessive because I don't know anyone who drinks more water than I do. but I really love water. And I also do Bikram yoga, which is done in 105 degrees. It's a 90-minute class done in 105-degree Fahrenheit heated studio. So, and I'm a sweater, so I sweat out so much water. I need to consume a lot of water, and if I don't, I'm just dead. I'll just shrivel up into a little ball and die. So yeah, I know. And oh, Aristotle, you think that's a lot? And the other crazy thing about it, with the amount of water I drink, I probably pee about 11 times a day. I literally go piss 11 times a day. It's crazy. It's like, but that's what happens when you drink 2 gallons of water minimum a day. But it's something I'm willing to deal with. I think the benefits outweigh the problems. I mean, I don't know, unless I'm like flushing all the nutrients out of my body. That's also a possibility. Especially because I like to drink like distilled water, or I have like a zero water filter, and it like filters out like it's like all the fluoride, all sorts of shit, pretty much everything in the water. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I'm doing myself a disservice by drinking that much water. But it sure tastes good. Let me tell you, I'm kind of addicted to it. Viper's gratitude. You say karma's bullshit. Truman evaporated 100,000 women and children with the A bomb and lived a comfortable life to the grand old age of 88. Yeah, right. I mean, but I guess the question is, was he perfectly happy and content though? Inside. I mean, there's a lot of people that go around in life and they act very happy, and they act like they're living very joyful lives. But then if you actually catch them when they're going to sleep at night, you see that they're like laying in bed crying and they feel like terrible, and then they wake up and they put on a smile on their face. It's really hard to know the actual feeling that someone has inside of them at any time. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely possible. I think it's definitely possible that he lived a happy, joyful life. But whether or not is another question. Hey, Danny John, thank you so much for the subscription. Much appreciated. Yeah, you get to witness my new bomb command, right? My new boom command. I just threw that on yesterday. I don't know. I think it might be too much. I think I might be getting sick of it already. Especially my buddy Swiss R was in here yesterday, and he probably used it like 30 times during the meditation, and it's like, okay, well, we're not looking at anything on the screen for a while. But it's kind of fun. I don't know. People like these kind of things on Twitch. There was the emote wall first, then there is the boom command, and there's all sorts of all weird shit that you can put on your screen, right? And it's always kind of fun, like finding a balance, right? Some people like to put things in little corners of their screen, and some people like to just have it blow up all everywhere. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of just playing with it now and seeing where it's going. All right, let's see. Evelyn, you say you're in class, so you'll have to lurk in a minute, but want to say, well, hey, I'm glad you were able to stop by. It's always a pleasure to see you around here. Thanks for swinging by. Viper's gratitude, you say, okay, oh, come on, listen to yourself. Was he upset about it? I mean, you never know. You never know with people. Like, it's easy to say, like, I have met people that act their whole lives like they're like super happy and joyful, and they go by the notion of fake it until you make it, right? And they always walk out with a smile on their face, and they act super positive. And then like these are the same people that then one day just get up and shoot themselves in the head. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how people just can put on such an act and and come across as such a happy, kind, loving person, and then in reality they're just like a tormented soul. It's really hard to know what's going on deep inside someone's soul unless you're like maybe either really close to that person, like maybe you're the significant other of that person, or you're like a really good close friend with that person, or unless you're incredibly empathetic and can really see like what's going on inside that person's head. But I mean, I've known people that have are always walking around with a smile on their face and have literally shot themselves in the head, and that's fucking crazy. That blows my mind. It's like literally blows my mind. I didn't even mean that. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty interesting, right? I mean, I knew a guy that everything was going great for him in his whole life. He worked as like a real high up in combat his whole life. He was always smiling, and cheerful, and just very happy, and just laughing, and whatever. And then he was looking forward to his retirement, and he retired, and then a few months later he went out in his backyard with a sawed-off shotgun and blew his head off. I mean, Was that person happy during his life? Hell no, that person wasn't happy. It said so in his suicide note. But he said was sick of putting on this act of happiness for everyone. And it's like, but everyone around him was always like, yeah, he's the most pleasant, happy person, one of the happiest people we know. So you just never quite know what's going on with someone. Um, to Danny John, you said you're doing all right. Oh, not too bad, not too much. Cool, cool. You're just kind of hanging in there today. Yeah, we talked earlier, and you sounded like you were having a good day. You're just kind of chilling. Aristotle, you said, let's see, where are we at? Cephalus in Book 1 of the Republic basically says that the stuff about old men walking in terror at the wrongs they've done. Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, you never know. We just never know what's going on with other people, and I think Plato had a good grasp on that, right? Plato just was just, I mean, he was brilliant. Not, I mean, they say like all of philosophy could be a footnote to Plato, right? I mean, actually, then some people went further and said, my boy Parmenides, all philosophy could be a footnote to Parmenides. I like that because I really dig Parmenides. He's a pre-Socratic philosopher in the Eleatic school, and I think it was around 500 BC. I actually named my cat Parmenides, Purr Menides, after him, and he's my boy. He's the grandfather of metaphysics, the first guy to put out a metaphysical argument, in his work that's like legit. Okay, well, hey, we got Tara Time here, the emote queen, who's also a streamer here on Twitch, a phenomenal personal trainer. She's a streamer here in the fitness and health community, and she goes crazy with the emotes. So we're not going to be seeing anything on the screen for the next like 20 minutes. How are you doing, Tara Time? How is life with you? I hope you're doing well today. I hope your life is filled with love and joy and peace. I hope everything's going well with you. Definitely check out Terror Time and drop her a follow. Let's see. Viper's Gratitude, you say, you don't think 100,000 murders versus feeling a bit sad constitutes karmic balance? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends. If the person is, tormented on a daily basis and is just constantly feeling nothing but angst and just fucking pure garbage in their existence, and just walks out, and pretends that they're feeling good, and then they have to like pretend that they're feeling good because that's just like what they're doing. I mean, yeah, it sure is not going to balance out, but I mean, it makes it's at least the person's not like living feeling like great about their existence after what they've done, right? But maybe not. Maybe he did. Maybe he felt good, about what he did. Maybe he didn't feel any problems. I don't know. I don't know. You mean exactly how sad would you have to be to balance burning tens of thousands of children alive, quantify? Yeah, I mean, but then again, and then karma is weird too, because the notion of karma can be taken like say into reincarnation, right? You can say, oh well, this person's going to have like 1,000 bad lifetimes. Like, what if he has like 1,000 bad lifetimes? Assuming this is all, assuming that karma exists and reincarnation exists, and assuming all that stuff, right? And there's a lot of assumptions here, right? But at the same time, I mean, maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe the universe is completely unfair, and and that's just the case, right? I mean, who knows? We don't know. There's a lot of questions we don't know. But I think it's like, I don't know. I wonder. I think karma sometimes it could even be a useful fiction, though. I think it makes us feel like we're there, like there is some fairness, and just the act of feeling there's fairness has instrumental value. So I'm not sure about that. And then see, at Terra Time you say, "Hi Agni, you're fine." Good. Well, I'm glad you're fine. I'm glad all is well with you. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking too much. Maybe we should just hop into the meditation. Sometimes I get out here and I'm all loquacious and just talking up a storm, and then I feel like I'm just, no one wants to hear that. People are just here for the meditation. I don't know. Some people are here for the talk. Some people are here for the meditation. It's always a balance, trying to find out what everyone's here for. But then at the same time, part of me doesn't give a fuck. I'm not going to cater to my audience. I'm going to just do what I'm here to do, which is to teach meditation and have some discussion and try to bring up philosophy. And I know philosophy has value. I know there's intrinsic value in having philosophical discussions and whatnot. But that's just what I believe. All right, so let's hop into the meditation. I'm ready. I'm ready for some meditation. So I start out all high intensity, My energy is really, really wild, and then we bring it down and we lower the intensity and we begin our meditation. So you're going to want to get into a comfortable seated position. You can sit on the floor in lotus pose. You can sit cross-legged with your back against the wall. Or you can sit in a chair. The main thing is to find a seated position that is comfortable for you. And then gently close your eyes and take a few deep breaths on your own. And I have a Buddhist chant that I play that has a chime that goes off every 2 seconds. And you can use that to help regulate your breath count. Take a few more deep breaths on your own and focus on your posture. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. Keep your attention on your breath. Inhale, gently raising your belly. Exhale, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out, gently lowering your abdomen. Focus on your breath count. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. The breath calms the body, and the body calms the mind. Be mindful of your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Visualize yourself sitting on a mountaintop, watching the clouds move beneath you. Two clouds merge into one, and one cloud separates into two. Those clouds are like your thoughts. You watch as the clouds move through the sky and disappear over the horizon. When thoughts come into being, they exist for a while in conscious awareness, and then they disappear from your mind, very similar to those clouds. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that is of no benefit. Stay focused on your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, visualize them as clouds moving through the sky and disappearing over the horizon. And return your focus to your breath count. Your essence is love. The manifestation of love is light. Your purpose is to shine your light on others. And awaken the inner light within them. And they will shine their light on all whom they encounter. Until all of humanity is lit once again. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego that obscures your third eye sight. Stay focused on your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, visualize them as clouds moving through the sky and disappearing over the horizon. And return your awareness to your breath count. Your essence is love. The manifestation of love is light. Your purpose is to shine your light on others. And awaken the inner light that resides within them. And they will shine their light on all whom they encounter. Until all of humanity is glowing radiantly once again. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego that obscures your third eye sight. On your next breath, travel down beneath the level of conscious awareness. Go to the region of your heart chakra. Feel the love that emanates from that location. Feel the light that flows from that love. Feel the pulsating and vibrating from that region. Feel the warmth that comes from that love. Focus on that love. Your foundational essence is that love that comes from your heart chakra. You are not the sum collection of your thoughts. Your identity is one with the purest love. You are eternal. You are immutable. From the context of eternity, you are omnipresent. From the context of eternity, you are omniscient. You are not your body. Your foundational essence lies beyond this dualistic framework. Inhale, gently raising your belly. Exhale, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in, gently raising your abdomen. Breathe out, gently lowering your abdomen. When ego thoughts arise in your mind, release them and return to your breath count. On your next breath, travel down to the region of your heart chakra. Feel the love pulsating in that location. Dive down deep, even further into that love. Find the center point of your love. Meditate on that center point. Feel the warmth at your center. Feel the love that flows from your center point. And when you're ready, go on through. I'll see you on the other side. On the other side, there is only monism. In that oneness, there can be no separation or division. In that oneness, there can be no edges or boundaries. In that oneness, no polarities or opposites can exist. In that oneness, there is only the purest love. And that purest love is your identity. In that purest love, you remember who you truly are. In that love, you remember how you came to be. In that love, you remember to embrace your perfection. that love, you remember to let go of the ego's voice. In that love, you remember to let go of all dualistic thinking. In that love, you remember that you have no blemishes. In that love, you remember your divinity. Your love flows eternally from the source of all creation. And flowing from the source of all, you are one with that source. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego that obscures your third eye vision. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all stress and tension from your body. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all fear and worry from your mind. Gently open your eyes and return to the present moment, bringing with you the peace from this meditation throughout the remainder of your life. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here with me in this meditation. I am truly honored and humbled to be here as your meditation guide. I hope you all got something out of this meditation. I hope you all feel a little more peaceful and a little more love in your life. Namaste. How was that for everyone? JT Farms. Good. Good. I'm glad you got something out of this meditation. I'm glad you had a little more joy in your life, a little more love and light in your life. I hope that was wonderful for you. You're an incredible person and you deserve it. You deserve all the love and light in the world. Terror Time. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope you gained some peace and light in your life as well. You're always a ball of light and joy anyway, so I don't know if you could be any more filled with love and light, but I hope you are. thank you for sharing this sacred space with me. It means a lot to me in my heart that you came here to be with me in this place of oneness. Okay, I feel good. I feel better too after that meditation. You know, something about you know, teaching a classroom full of young kids. Um, you know, when they're just trying to learn the basics of chess and they're all super hyper and ready to run around. You know, it's good to have a calming feeling after all that. Yeah, the boom commands, right? I love the boom commands, Terra Time. I don't know where you heard about that, but they're good. They are fun. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep them around forever or if I'll have to change the duration or what, but it's an experiment right now. It's an experiment in the works. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, great. Let's see who we are going to raid today. Oh, all right. We got some choices. Of who we're gonna raid. I feel like my Twitch dock and OBS doesn't always give me the full list, so I'm gonna just make sure I'm not missing anyone out there by looking over here. Let's see what Boogie on Up is doing. I don't think I've raided her in a real long time. Let me see. She's doing some bike riding. Oh, you know what? Acro's streaming too. Let's see what's going on with Acro. Yeah, let's raid Acro. Haven't seen him. I haven't raided him in a long time, but he's a great dude here, a great streamer in the fitness and health community. He's also a magician. A lot of you might not know that, but he was a magician earlier in his life. So we gotta get him to agree to do some tricks for us all. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Let's send love and light his way. And thank you all for tuning in and checking out my stream. I hope you all feel great. Namaste.